Okay, let's go and do a quick recap of Fallout Season 2, Episode 7 in some greater detail than a regular recap, because Episode 8 drops in a little bit, and you might as well know a lot of the information before it does. So, Fallout Season 2, Episode 7 starts off with Stephanie as she is in Canada. This is actually pre-war, before all the bombs drop and everything like that, as she's escaping with her mother from an internment camp. Her and her mother are running with a few others, but they're quickly getting gunned down, and there's this power unit that tells them to go back to the internment camp when a other Canadian survivor decides to blow him away. I can't really show that because it will be demonetized, but her mother ultimately dies in the explosion. But before she perishes, she tells Stephanie to don't trust anyone, and especially Americans, as she needs to get her head above water and find a safe place to be because she wants to see her daughter live in this world. Now, Stephanie makes it across the American border with killing a few people, which is definitely not wrong because she's escaping an internment camp and those people would turn her in and their mean ultimate harm or something along that line. But she makes it all the way to America, and that basically starts off the episode. So, really good intro. I was not expecting to see that or any Canada, as we don't really see a lot of Canada other than in Fallout 1. But yeah, it's really cool seeing all that. But moving on, we get to see Hank and Lucy inside of that executive vault. Now Hank is trying to explain to Lucy that, hey, this is all good stuff, it keeps them from fighting each other, and Lucy is subtly agreeing with him, but she still wants to take him to go to the reactor because she still wants to shut it down to some degree, as she knows what her father is doing is really, really bad. But she does not know how to drive, so they have like a little fun golf cart lesson as they go down to the reactor, but it's behind a door, and they decide to have dinner beforehand, as she really wants to think through a decision before shutting down this entire system that may somehow save the wasteland, but it's really not. She's just trying to see all angles and trying to be the best, or trying to be the nicest for the situation. But we get to catch back up with Maximus and Thaddeus as they are with the Ghoul. The Ghoul can tell that Maximus has cold fusion, and he wants to see it to confirm it. Now, during this scene, Maximus does not give the cold fusion to the Ghoul, but it causes the Ghoul to have a flashback to pre-war, where he gets to basically, we get to see where the ramifications from episode 6, where he gets the cold fusion from Hank's neck, as Stephanie, now working for a Vegas hotel and wants to be, it's like a maid there, takes Hank's body back, as we get to see Cooper discuss with his wife what to do with the cold fusion now that they have it, and they want to give it to the safest person there, and which is the U.S. Senator. So he arranges a meeting with the U.S. Senator to go talk to the Atomic Wrangler. As they're having a discussion, the Senator says, hey, the U.S. President's in town, you should hand it to him because that will be the safest person. That's the Enclave. I don't really need to go into more detail. That's the Enclave. Cooper basically kind of gives the Enclave the power they need to start the bombs and dropping and everything like that. But yeah, that's basically just a quick recap for those parts. Let's move on to the next thing. So, the Ghoul was taking Thaddeus and Maximus over to an NCR armory so they can get supplies to go straight towards the ship, as Maximus wants to give the cold fusion to Lucy. Now, they need to get this cold fusion through the ship. Unfortunately, there's a lot of death claws there, so they're going to armor up, they're going to get a bunch of weapons and everything like that. During the scene, Thaddeus points out that he has a mouth on his neck. Not a good thing. He's probably becoming a centaur or some sort of herald-like creature. I already have a video discussing this in like the short section. Go check that out. But it's not good what he's becoming, and we'll probably see the ramifications of this in Fallout Season 3, as I don't think they're going to do it within Episode 8. But we get to see the Ghoul and Maximus open up the NCR Ranger Power Armor. This is by far one of the coolest Ranger Power Armor designs I've seen in a long time. I really do like it. I'm happy that it's in the show and it's just a new thing. It's really cool. But in exchange for the armor, because this is a transactional friendship, Maximus gives the cold fusion to the Ghoul so they can make their way through the ship to go save Lucy. Now, we'll pick up with them later as they will be at the ship going through 3-side in a few scenes. We get to see Norm. Oh, he's knocked out again. We don't get to see Norm. Moving on, we get to go over to Vault 32 as we see Stephanie and Chet getting ready for their wedding. And Chet finds Woody's glasses in the disposal, which is not good because Woody has been missing, and it kind of points to the fact that Stephanie may have killed him or done something to him, as Woody's glasses just wouldn't be in the disposal for no reason at all. But we get to see the water situation in Vault 33 is not going well, so Betty gives in to Stephanie's demands and gives her the trunk in exchange for half of the water supply from Vault 32. There's a good chance that trunk is actually what the Vault experiment is, and it's not a good thing that Betty just gave Stephanie the trunk. But moving on, we get to see Freeside. Freeside is very positive about the NCR's return, or at least with Maximus wearing the NCR Ranger armor, as they are cheering him on, cheering on the NCR, and cheering on the group that is going to go kill the Deathclaws on the strip, as I'm guessing the Deathclaws have been a really big nuisance for Freeside. What's really cool about this scene is we get to see some of the courier's choices, as that means that he did the King's Quest line to make Freeside like the NCR, as during the game, when you first meet them, the NCR and Freeside are at odds with each other. But if you do the King's Quest line siding with the NCR, the Freeside will like the NCR, as they just mean to help them out. Yeah, they come with taxes, but they are there just to do good. There isn't like an all-around evil to Freeside, okay? But that's cool. But then they get him march onto the strip. Oh wait, Thaddeus loses his arm. Yeah, he's most likely becoming a centaur, a hero-like creature, as already discussed before. But he is unable to help with the fight, so the Ghoul and Maximus leave Thaddeus behind as they march into the strip. So let's go see what's happening with Lucy and Hank. It looks like they're having a dinner together. It's just like a father-daughter dinner. Now, Lucy comes to the understanding that her father is evil and there is no good with this device, so she locks him in the room and she heads straight for the reactor. During this time, Norm finally awakens again, decides to radio, and it radios over to Hank's vault. Now, obviously, there is a third person listening on this radio line, and I think that's going to be pointed out with episode 8. But, oh yeah, Norm's knocked out again. We don't get to see the rest of his storyline until episode 8, which he's been really sidelined for this episode. I really do like Norm's character, but I feel like a lot of characters this season are being sidelined. Unfortunate, though. But moving on, we get to see Lucy run all the way down to the reactor area, and we'll pick up with more of that in a few scenes. But we get to catch up on the Vault 32 wedding between Chet and Stephanie, and it looks like the wedding is going well. Unfortunately, Stephanie is 200 years old, but that's not the worst fact. She's Canadian, which requires the whole Vault to rise up against her, as that you can't, there's like no Canadians. They're like really angry at that. So they decide to charge at her all the way to the Overseer's office as she decides to open up the steamer trunk in the room. So we'll get the reveal of that in episode 8. It's most likely FEV or some sort of memories thing that's there. I already made a short discussing this, but it's just probably that. It's either memories of her mom, identification forms for herself, or it's the Vault experiment, which is going to turn the people into FEV, and she's probably going to inject that into the water supply after making up some sort of lie of why she had to hide her identity and what's going on. But we get to see an awesome fight scene with the Ghoul and Maximus as they fight a bunch of Deathclaws on the strip. I think this is really cool. They did a really good job with like the effects, the practical effects they used, the CGI, everything. They did an outstanding job. And I really did like this scene. Unfortunately, I cannot show a lot of images as it is kind of graphic, but it's really cool. They did a really good job with it, and I highly recommend watching it if you have not seen it. But we get to see the Ghoul open up the door to Lucky 38 as Maximus goes and holds off the Deathclaws. Unfortunately, the Deathclaws kind of overpower him and kick him straight through the Freeside door, opening it up, and yeah, the Deathclaws can now go into Freeside. So he has to fight off the Deathclaws as the Freeside citizens are going to go hide and take bets on him next episode. So we'll see that next episode. So, post-war, Cooper Howard goes to the top of the Lucky 38 and gives the cold fusion to Mr. House, as it's what he probably should have done in the first place, as Mr. House's AI system now boots up. Mr. House is dead. The courier did kill Mr. House, and Yes Man's Securitron corpse is standing right next to it. So there's a good chance Yes Man took over the system and then had a complete meltdown or something like that because he couldn't handle all the networks. That's just kind of my guess, but the version of Mr. House that we see is AI. But during this same scene, we get to see some pre-war flashbacks of Cooper handing the cold fusion to the United States president, which is also played by Mr. Krabs, Clancy Brown. So I'm really happy to see that, and it was really cool and have a cool cameo. I don't know if we'll see more of him in season 3, but he basically just handed the cold fusion to the Enclave and basically kind of started the apocalypse, so not cool, okay? But we get to see what the reactor was for all the mind control people from Lucy's perspective. And yeah, it turns out it's that U.S. Senator's head. That was a big reveal to me. I had to rewind that scene a few times just to make sure that I was seeing that correctly. But yeah, it's the U.S. Senator's head. It's why they're all in this like kind of work state and they're all kind of friendly to each other and all kind of like boring. It's because it's the U.S. Senator's head. Crazy reveal, but we'll catch up more on that with Fallout Season 2, Episode 8. Now, this episode was heavily building towards that, and I can't wait to see all of the endings for it, at least in the next episode. I thought this episode was pretty good. What do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about this video? Please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching.